The Tennessee Volunteers absolutely took care of business last night in the Orange Bowl. Just throttled Clemson, 31-14. There's a lot to talk about within this game. But when you look at what Tennessee did last night, if they had shown up and fought hard, and you know what? One thing leads to another. You end up losing to Clemson, who's got a talented freshman quarterback. Nobody would have blamed the Vols, man. Like, they had every built-in excuse, and nobody would have been overly critical of Tennessee to say, hey, great year, 10 wins. We understand your quarterback went down. No Jeremy Banks, no Jalen Hyatt, no Cedric Tillman. A lot of top guys not playing for the Vols. So, hey, if you don't bring it, that's okay. We understand. What was it? Next man up. Joe Milton comes in. He's dealing. Brew McCoy, tons of big plays. Squirrel, he's going to be a guy for them in the future. Squirrel White, 9 receptions, 108 yards, and a touchdown. That's a little Waddle celebration. Hopefully Coach 30 gets something on that. They had some guys step up in a huge way. And that, to me, is the sign of a program. Not a program, a program. Programs are not swayed by the external environment, meaning it doesn't matter what the circumstances are. We're coming, and you're going to have to deal with us. We're going to dictate our own terms to you, and you're going to have to play your style of game to match what we're bringing. I saw a ton of confidence. I saw a ton of juice. I saw a ton of poise for a team that, let's be real, they were new to that spot. Like, Clemson was the one who was supposed to look experienced and look like it was, their kind of game to play. Like, they were supposed to be the team that looked comfortable. Instead, it was the Vols that showed up, threw haymakers, ended up throwing a knockout later in this football game. I'm excited to talk about this program going forward because I think there's a lot of good things on the horizon. More on that in just a second. If you haven't yet subscribed, now's the time, y'all. We would love to have you at the party. Thank you to, I would say it's somewhere in the range of 8,000 of you Tennessee Vol fans that have joined us this past season. We're so glad you're here. We're so glad you're at the party. If you haven't yet joined, hey, no time like the present. I'm just saying. Also, follow me on the socials at JD Piquel on Twitter and on Instagram. We go live on Tuesday, 1 Central, 2 Eastern, and on Thursday, same exact time, 1 Central, 2 Eastern on this channel. We put it out on Twitter. Also, if you have a notification on the bell, you'll be able to catch that. But we interact on here. It's a lot of fun. Make sure you're locked in for those shows. Here's the thing that I was really impressed by with Tennessee. We've talked a lot about their personnel and how good Hendon Hooker is, how good their receivers are. But one thing that people have been fairly critical of, and a lot of that I think is fair, to be honest with you, the defense. That linebacking core and the defensive line played fairly well for the duration of the year, but that was sort of the weaker part of the team, quite honestly. The secondary had shown they had some weaknesses coming into that game, giving up 284 yards of contest through the air. That doesn't win you many football games. Were they perfect last night? No, but guess what? Katie Klubnik from Clemson had 54 attempts, so they were throwing it a lot of the time. So that probably inflates the number against them. But I was just impressed by the game plan, by the approach, because Tennessee knew we got a quarterback over there, super talented, and he's making his first start in an enormous stage. Let's turn up the heat. Let's get after him. And that's what I think great teams do, is they apply the pressure, right? They're the ones who knock. And that's what Tennessee was last night. Hurried the quarterback 26 times, got home 4 of those. Like I already said, turned 2 interceptions against young Cade Klubnik, who I think is going to be really good. They dictated their terms last night. And that's a sign of good things to come. I think it's a sign of sort of the mentality of this team. And I think the mentality of the team is very much so indicated by the coaching staff. So we'll talk about that in a second. But offensively, showed a ton of confidence in Joe Milton. I mean, Joe Milton was 19 for 28, 3 touchdowns. Y'all, he was spinning that thing. I mean, thank goodness that his receivers have strong hands like Brew McCoy and Squirrel White. I mean, everybody was touching the rock, had, a good grasp as to how fast that thing was coming in. But, that could have really hurt somebody. He was probably launching oranges off the stage post-game. And I just feel bad for the folks in the nosebleeds because he was ripping that thing. And we knew he had a bazooka for an arm. Like, everybody knew he had just 99 overall throw power, but the accuracy and decision-making last night, I was really impressed with. A guy who really, in the day and age of the transfer portal, finds out he's not going to be the starter after Hendon Hooker takes over last year, after Joe Milton won the job out of camp last year. Would have been easy to say, you know what? Forget this. I can go play somewhere else, man. I'm good enough to start at a lot of these schools. I can go play somewhere else. But Joe Milton stayed, developed, bought in, and you saw him reap the benefits last night. And I think going forward for Tennessee, Joe Milton will be the catalyst of this program, be the catalyst of this offense, which is important. But going back to the game plan, like I said, a lot of confidence. There was no scheming super differently for him in the game. Sometimes you see a backup quarterback kind of get sheltered game plan-wise. Hey, we're just going to run the football, let you be a game manager. He was chucking that thing around the yard. 28 attempts, just uncorking it, play after play. It was a lot of fun to watch, and you just got to be happy for a guy like Joe Milton to step in on a stage like that with the entire team depending on him, Vol Nation on his shoulders, no problem. Makes it happen, led the offense to 31 points. Really, really impressive. So here's the deal now for the future for Tennessee. Because the Orange Bowl win, huge, tremendous, tremendous victory, tremendous to package that up and sell that to recruits, sell that to guys in the transfer portal, come to Tennessee, win New Year's Six bowl games, get a lot of exposure, have a lot of fun. You know the deal, right? Josh Heupel and a lot of the guys within that program echoed the same sentiment after the game. Like, moments after winning the Orange Bowl, they kept saying, this is just the start. This is just the tip of the iceberg. We still have a lot we want to accomplish, a lot we want to do. This is awesome for us, but this is just the start. To have the foresight that, yeah, we're happy about this, but we understand there are bigger things we're after, I just think Josh Heupel as a program leader has got to be one of the best in college football. Because you saw a team last night, like I already mentioned, tons of personnel that's super talented, not in uniform for you. They just reset, no flinch. The mentality this team has from Josh Heupel to want to do bigger and better things, but at the same time, be focused on the moment. And like he says, be able to reset and to just not flinch, that's going to make them really dangerous. Now for 2023, what will make them elite again is if you get Orange Bowl Joe Milton. If this is really who Joe Milton is, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with yet again next season. Is he going to be Hendon Hooker? I don't know, man. Hendon Hooker's Hendon Hooker. But if Joe Milton can just be Joe Milton from last night, I think they're in for another special season. So we're going to keep track of them. We're going to keep track of their recruiting, keep track of the transfer portal, make sure you're subscribed. But I'm just saying, Tennessee, they're made of the right stuff. A ton of that is credited to Josh Heupel. And what I saw from Joe Milton last night gives me a lot of optimism if I'm a Tennessee Volunteer fan. But again, Tennessee just handling business last night against Clemson, 31-14. They are the Orange Bowl champions, and they proved that point emphatically. Big time win. This has been The Hard Count. We appreciate you tuning in with us, man. So fun to have y'all here locked in, along for the ride. Thank you to all of y'all that are subscribed. If you haven't yet, now's the time. Y'all already said it. Nick Brake, Lifting Heavy. This is your show. So grateful that y'all allow us to do this for a job. Blows my mind every time. Also follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at JD Patel. We're going to keep the party rolling. We will see y'all next time. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.